Is Brandon Jennings ducking smoke, man? So if you've been following, you know, Gil's Arena or Gilbert Arena's podcast, if you've been following Gil's Arena, you know that about I want to say is it now a month ago, maybe like three weeks ago or a month ago, Brandon Jennings he basically called out his entire draft class of guards or I think players in general, saying that he's the best. And then this kind of spiraled out to him calling out players individually, like Ty Lawson, Lou Will. I forgot it was Drew Holiday was a big discussion. So he's been calling out guys, and I don't know when Patrick Beverley got mixed up into the discussion. Oh yeah, he called out Jeff Teague as well. So, and again, I don't know when PB got mixed up into the discussion, but he is this I think over the past couple of days and last night they've been so Gilbert Arenas, Jeff Teague, and a few other creators and podcasters. They're on this app called Playback, um, and basically you get to watch game highlight. It's like a platform in which you watch streams and you're able to see people's faces and you can talk and communicate. I think it's pretty dope. But Patrick Beverley and Brandon Jennings have been going back and forth. So about doing a one-on-one. So Brandon Jennings is like, man, you can't play against me if you never average 10 points in the league. Um, I haven't checked the stats on how many points Patrick Beverley has averaged at each point, each season. So I'm assuming he's never averaged 10 points in his career, or that's what, or maybe that's his career average that Brandon Jennings is talking about. But I feel like Pat Bev has averaged at least 10 points one time. I don't know. But he's saying that if you haven't averaged 10 points in the league, you cannot play him one-on-one. That's what Brandon Jennings is telling to Pat Bev. And man, I just saw a clip. Pat Bev was like, man, we could put 100K on it. Um, let's go. Put 100K up. Let's go one-on-one. And and Brandon just kind of like brushed it off. He's like, I'm not stooping to that level because he never averaged 10. And I'm like, come on, man. But what I think, and as we know, man, Pat Bev, see, I this is something that people may not know. When Pat Bev, because I'm a Rockets fan. If you've been rocking with me, you know when I drop videos on the Rockets, I make it clear. Um, Pat Bev that year when he, took over the starting spot, man, he was a dog, man. He he came in for defensive purposes, as we know. They needed, he was they needed someone alongside James Harden, who could defend, and take some pressure off him on the other side of the ball. So that was Pat Bev. He was that dog. He was gritty, um, scrappy. That was him when he first came in the league. And man, he was Pat Bev was one of my favorite players as a Rocket. You know, talk about all time Rockets or players that I've watched. He's definitely one of my favorites. But yeah, so BJ's just he's like, man, I'm not playing you, But if you know Pat Bev, you know that high school he averaged nearly 40 in high school, and I think he came up with D Rose in him. College, I think he was a dog in college, and then he when he got to the league, he found his role, right. He played his role well, 3-time all defensive teams. Um, and then on the flip side, we know BJ. Um, I think he was number one in his class coming out of high school, right, or at least top three. Um, at Oak Hill, did this thing at Oak Hill, went overseas, and then in the league with Milwaukee, made a big splash. Own signature shoe with UA. He was the first signature athlete for Under Armour. And then his most memorable game is that 55 he dropped as a rookie on Golden State. And things didn't quite work out in Milwaukee. He went to Detroit. He was balling in Detroit, and then he towards Achilles, and that pretty much derailed his career. He wasn't really the same afterwards. But I think this is, I think this is just a setup, man. I think this is a setup for Gil's Arena and the Pat Bev pod. Draw a lot of attention, get a lot of eyes. I could be wrong. Maybe they won't play each other, but I feel like we could see a game. We might see a game soon. Excuse me. Um, we might see a game soon between Pat Bev and Brandon Jennings. Now I would say this: if they were to play, who would I pick? Man, I'm going Pat Bev. I'm just keeping a buck. Pat Bev. I think he still plays overseas, or he's just 1 year removed from being in the league. I think I'm assuming he's more active than Brandon Jennings. So I'm going Pat Bev. And I think Pat Bev is a little stronger in terms of he has. I don't know if the lateral quickness is still there, but again, we're talking about somebody who's recently just been out the league, like a year. I think was he in the league? Somebody correct me in the comments. I'm gonna go back and um, look it up. I think he was in the league 2 years ago or last year. No, it had to be. I don't know, man. I'm gonna look it up. But anyways, I'm picking Pat Bev. But yeah, let me know in the comments. You think Brandon Jennings is ducking smoking? Do you think this is all to do about nothing and they won't play, or do you think you know Playback, Gills Arena, Pat Bev Pod, they got some type of collaboration coming up soon? They just uh drawing up the hype. Let me know in the comments what y'all think. And if they do play, who do you think will be the winner? Pat Bev or Brandon Jennings?